Here. Well, small recap, I would say, since we're now live, just to so everybody to catch on. So the win was really about that. Um, I do am an advocate of not spending too much time in the lab, and for that, I sometimes am afraid to pick up new, you know, getting to new spheres. And by default, I did, and I'm pretty happy about that because now the brain doesn't stop clicking and thinking. It's like, okay, you could do this, you could do that, you could do this. There's a whole new um, space
Good.
of conversation that I've opened with that one. So that was my win for today.
Let's start the show before you go and repeat yourself a third time.
Oh my God.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Depending on where you're tuning in from, my name is Robert Blakely. I'm your host of our Monday Mastermind for the Lost Transition. Kind of chuckling in the background here before we started having the conversation before that. But anyway, this is Monday Mastermind. It's my favorite day of the week. It's our chance as entrepreneurs to get the week started off straight, get it started off right, right? So typically what we do here is we talk about our wins from last week or things that we're looking forward to doing. Got a little bit of an instructional piece every day as well, or every Monday, shall I say. Today is week two. Today we're going to be talking about comfort kills dreams. That's the topic of today's conversation. So, that being said, we do have kind of a light crowd today, but if you'd like to go ahead and get us started, Virgil, with the with your wins for this week, we'd love to hear them, brother.
Okay, I'll go. So, I was saying again that initially I am one to want to balance the time spent in the lab and such, and I had been advocating the fact that you have to be careful on how you want to scale yourself, and I was a little bit bound by that myself, stuck in that comfort zone, limiting my the use of AI around just the creation of simple tools limited to the how-to conversation that we were building. And this weekend, I decided to step out of that comfort zone. I wanted to go full cycle from the creation of the asset, the implementation of it as a web application or a web platform, and then going deeper. And as I was saying, I'm always cautious about that because every every upskill is also a new level of action, responsibility, things that you have to pursue. You don't just upskill yourself to leave it like that and go upskill yourself somewhere else and leave it like that. Uh, in continuation of what you're doing, if you are working and it worked so far, at one point you meet that saturation point and you have to upskill. So I was very cautious with that, and I was stuck into this comfort zone until this weekend where I decided to go full force, and that forced me to look into the direction of opening a Google developers account. So I'm going through the motion of that, and I'm still waiting for the final result. But that was a win on its own, a huge win, a small step, big win, because now, ever since I did that, it's a new environment, it's a new ecosystem, it's a new POS process, which again opens up a limitless amount of possibility as long as I am fit to pursue them. So that was my win. That was my share.
Oh yeah, kudos to you, brother. Like I do have something to say off of what you just told me. That was sparking in my head as you were talking. I first off congratulate you for stepping outside of that comfort zone and learning new things. From my perspective of what I've been dealing with the lost transition, I'm not a coder. You guys already know that. I've told you this before, but if you have the gumption, if you will, you can learn things, right? Like I don't know about coding, but I've gotten up to this part, having the website done and all that, just using artificial intelligence, right? Obviously, there's going to be a learning curve with that and understanding how to use it properly. I've gone through that already as well, dealing with Claude. And you had to put specific prompts in there. You had to, know how to speak to your artificial intelligence, if nothing else. But the fact that you're opening that is a great positive sign, moving in the right direction. It's going to help you grow. You know, I've said this, and we're going to be really driving home this point this year. I want us to start trying to move away from the whole consumer thought and ideology to being the creator, right? I believe that once you are the creator or a creator of things, then you stand to have better odds of winning, if you will, right? Versus just being the follower or somebody that's just consuming things. You want to really, like, I guess the best way to say it is stepping into your power, right? Stepping into leadership. But kudos to you, bro, for doing that.
Yeah, I actually have a second one. Now that you
Yeah.
said that, it's well, you will be the judge of it because I call it a win. Um, and this is what's happening. And I think it starts out some like most likely a similar experience that we have here because when you start getting active in what you want to do, as we all are, actively posting or actively talking about your business or your interests, you get solicited, right? And I always took that as a positive thing because if I do enough for you to notice me and try to solicitate me for your business, it means that I'm in the right direction, at least networking wise, right? And I usually evaluate them based on how they approach and such like that. And that was only possible because me, myself, since I'm going over these learning, practicing, evolving my understanding. So when somebody sends me a solicitation message, right, I weigh it differently. I have that perspective, not that consumer receiving that solicitation, but that greater perspective. Okay, I'm doing this. Has he done it? Is he doing it the right way? How do I react to it? Is this a calculated move? And I usually evaluate that even for cause I showcase that into one of our conversation. But the point of this real win is that I got solicited by this company, and I have to say, evaluating them, they had the conversation on lock. So much so that I was like, well, it's exactly what we're discussing currently. The idea of your acquisition being stronger when you have this community conversation right there in the beginning, or at the follow-up, because it was a young guy, and they had a very strong hook. They took part of my conversation and made a video introduction showing that they had actually made the discovery of who I am. Right. So that right there, I was hooked. And then the conversation went directly from the offer to the introduction to their community and their environment and whatnot. And they were on lock with social proof, a whole bunch of video, perfect tunnel system. And I was like, you know what? I want to meet this lad. I want to make this conversation because they had everything on point. They booked the conversation. I booked the conversation. They sent me a few more solicitation, making me understand that part of it was automatic, and then they canceled.
Hmm.
And I was like, well, that's the first, right?
Yeah.
I usually you solicitate and then you go through to the promise or the conversation when you have acquired. But
Yeah.
with all this super execution, with all this uh, perfect timing, hook, display of a trust value and such, they made that decision to cancel the meeting. So I was like, okay, perplexed. I was perplexed. And my win was like, okay, well, there's usually two or three reasons why you cancel a meeting, right? Either the person solicited you and you realize that it's a bad fit, right? So you cancel, or there is an inconvenience and you cancel and try to rebook, right? Or you realize that you bit off more than you chew because their cancellation conversation, well, we realize that we're not the right fit for you. I was
I'm
like,
leaning
okay,
more towards option A.
which one is it? And it was
Well, that it wasn't a correct fit. As you were speaking and you were saying that, all the way in my mind, I was thinking I can partially agree with that, or they just suck at our advertising or marketing and are just pitching everybody, right? but maybe
Yeah.
they canceled because of the fact that they reached out and then saw, okay, well, maybe it wasn't right. I don't know, obviously, but
But no, they actually stated that. That's what you said. That was when they canceled with option A, right?
okay.
You are
So they
not,
said it
we're
wasn't a
not
good fit.
yeah, we're not the right fit for you. But that's strange because if you solicited me and you made sure to copy my information and go over that, and they did that twice with different process as well. And the person was real. So I have no doubt that they did look at my information before soliciting me. That was part of the hook. I was like, okay, you really did your homework on that. I can't deny that there is interest. You showed interest. I want to go see you, or I want to see what you got next. But when what you got is a cancellation with no apparent reason. All right. So my reasoning or my win was that is I was too big for them to chew. They figured
That's
like
it,
no,
baby. That's it.
but it I gotta say in their conversation they were like you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to create a course, you have to create an ecosystem, you have to do this. All these check marks that we're hitting on. All these check marks, right? I was like, okay, perfect. You made the perfect promise, line up the perfect hook, the delivery. Right. So I'll see where that happens. But that was like I call it a win. I was like, well,
I like
they
the
looked at the
mindset either way.
conversation because
I like the
I was
mindset.
ready for them. They were talking about course. Well, we have a course. I was talking about this tool. I was talking about this. I was like, I'm gonna hammer this conversation. I'm gonna be a coconut for you guys, a big coconut. I won the fight. That's it. That was my
That's funny and interesting all at the same time. But yeah, I think they just jumped the gun, but who knows, man? We'll see. Maybe something will come out of it. But thanks for sharing, brother. I love
my
the
response
mindset.
was, please explain yourself. Sorry about that.
Either way, I love the mindset. You're just too good for them, bro. Thank you for sharing. Anybody want to follow that up? Anybody got some wins that they want to share? Feel free. Feel free. Yes? Anyone? No? All right, Jackie, stepping up to the plate. What you got, my friend?
Good morning, everybody. No, good afternoon, everybody. Happy New Year. I don't think I've seen anybody since the New Year. Um, or maybe I have. I don't know. Yeah, I've got two wins. I have gotten two new prospects to lenders
Yeah.
in last week. Um,
Yes. Congrats.
it's a new product it's a new lender that I've partnered with, and I really, really, truly believe in the product. I'm not just saying it. It's a product of building business credit, whereby a business um, has its own separate identity. So if the business needs to borrow money or do anything, they do it under their EIN number, and nobody asks for their social security number,
Nice.
which is great, you know. So
Uh-huh.
you two separate entities, and I think that's brilliant. So I've managed to get two people
Yeah.
to that resource, and we'll just wait to see what happens. But yeah, that's good. So thank you.
Congrats, girl. That's awesome. And maybe that might be the differentiating factor to bring you in more business, right? Like for me, I know what you're talking about is that they typically run my social. They run my social. They're like, yeah, right. But if you can use your EIN for your business, man, even better. So
And
kudos.
I also did something that you instruct us to do, coach, which is tell your story. Um, and I did tell my story again and again, the same story, slightly different variations, but it worked.
What? Say that again,
Yeah,
please. I'm sorry.
it
I
worked
don't
for
know if
it
I
did
heard
it
you.
worked
For those
for
in the
me.
back.
Yeah, it worked for me. I told my story about myself and my business credit, my social security, and what, the kind of muddle that I got into, and it resonated. And this has happened at least three times so far.
I
So
love it. Oh,
thank you, Robert.
you're very welcome. Thank you for being coachable, my friend. It's all it takes, man. Just be coachable. For Christ's sakes, just be coachable and do the action. Step out of your comfort zone, do the action. And I'm going to get ahead of myself. I got slides for this. So let me back up for a moment. Anybody else want to share? Thank you, Jackie. That's a wonderful share. Congratulations, my friend. Vicky, go ahead. Great to see you too, by the way.
Hello. Yes, there's been a lot of great things already this year, and I feel really confident moving into everything. And I've been working on I have for a long time been wanting to rebuild my Tennessee fix, and I started doing that. It's coming along very well, and and I'm just really excited because if I don't feel that heaviness that I felt this time last year, I feel freer. And I have to say, Robert, I love your videos. I mean, you crack me up every day. My reels will go by, and here you are roller skating, or you're juggling the coconuts, apples, and oranges. It
Like
just
that one?
helps to resonate everything that you've been saying all along, and I just love it. So
Well, thank
thank you
you.
all.
I'm having a
I'm
blast.
looking forward to making this a great year.
Good, good. And congratulations and thank you. Sora, part of ChatGPT, man. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. So if you don't know, Sora is, you look at it kind of like a TikTok, but for AI. So all the videos and stuff that are in there in Sora, it's all artificial intelligence. But the cool thing about that Sora is that when you first start off, it'll ask you to take a picture, and you got to do this with your head so that they can see your face, and then you turn to the side, and it'll create your profile or your avatar, if you will. And then it's as simple as clicking you as the character and typing in what the prompts that you want are, and boom, pops down a 10-second video. So, Sora, if you need the link, let me know. I got a share link. It's pretty cool. But thank you. I'm having a blast with that thing. I'll tell you what. Good stuff. Anybody else wants to got some shares to share? Some wins to share? Oh, and if you're watching us live, you can join us by going to live.thelosttransition.com. Forgot to mention that. Any other wins that you'd like to share? Anyone? Go once, going twice. So, you want to share, Lee? Cool. I'll hook it up. Cool. So I'm just gonna kind of speak from the heart here for just a few minutes to share this information with you. For us, that's the beginning of the week as far as wins. I'm just super excited about the continual progression that I'm making on the lost transition. I was getting ready to post in the group today that we're going to start testing today. Yeah, today. There are payment links that are in there. Not everything is at 100% yet. For those of you guys that don't know what I'm talking about, I am building out the losttransition.com website. It's including all of the stuff we teach and we talk about. There's a social community side of things, but we're turning it into an affiliate program. So there's three different options. We have the free member. The free member is able to sign up, have a link, and share it with other people and actually earn 20%. So I think that that's kind of cool because in most cases, you had to pay to get involved in something. So I wanted to do something because I run into a lot of people that say, I just don't have the money, right? So let's give them a platform that they can share, earn some money, and then be able to do great things with it. Part of this was because the whole concept of the lost transition and transitioning from the job to time freedom was to create those extra incomes, right? But when I first started creating this, I wasn't sure that I wanted the headache or the liability of having a bunch of people that I had to pay. Over the week, I found out that it can be done pretty easily through Stripe. So the way that I'm setting it up is that everybody will have their account. They'll go in there, they'll connect to Stripe, and then we can track everything as far as the payments and all that stuff. End of the month, 15th, we shoot out a commission check to everyone, goes right into their Stripe accounts. We'll use PayPal as a backup. And then I'm also creating an internal credit system, dollar per dollar, which is kind of cool, for those people that maybe can't get paid because they're in a third world country, like Africa as an example, Stripe will not work there, but they've got another one called Pay something or another that I might be able to utilize. So my point is I'm trying to make this platform available to everybody, right? Even in third world countries, because again, people need to earn, right? So with that being said, free members will be able to sign up, make 20%. Monthly paid members for the inner circle is now $77 instead of the 50 that we were charging. A little more value, got the website, all that fun stuff. Plus we have to account for commissions, right? So if you're a monthly registered user, you're paying monthly, you can earn 50%, which is quite generous, I think. And then one last final one is a founding member or founding position. That's where you pay yearly. I know sometimes we may not have the money to do that now, but you could eventually upgrade. That's 770 per year, pay for the whole year. 2 months off. In essence, it's like 64 bucks a month is what it breaks down to. But 60% commissions. So I'm not um, I'm not afraid to give up the commissions because again, I'm not doing this as a catalyst to go make a bunch of money. That's not what I'm doing this for, right? I'm doing this so that I can have the platform that's been created and generated and discussed and kind of brought to my life through the universe through the past 5 years, just as a stable platform that we can utilize, continue to utilize, and ultimately put more money into more people's pockets, right? So that's my win for the week. I'm getting excited. Today we start testing, so look for a post within the Lost Transition Facebook group here sometime today. I'm trying to get the image share working on Facebook. Once I get that done, then I'll post and we can start having some fun. But for those of you guys that do join, I need you to know and understand we're not at 100% yet, and that's going to be part of the message that I put out. So you do want to give it about 2 weeks. I'll let you guys know before we start openly promoting to the public. But this next 2 weeks, what I want to use this for is to get people in, get them signed up, and then get the connections going between, make sure profiles work, all that other little fun stuff that I need other active users to be able to connect those, make those connections. Once that's all done, then I'll say, okay, let's have some fun and invite some people. We still have to work on the UI for the mobile part of it and also tablet. But beyond that, most of the website is already there. So we just got to kind of work on it. Those members that are founding members, obviously, I'm going to take input and critique from those of you that are founding members first before anybody else. So that just means that you'll have the ability to say, hey, Rob, I think it'd be cool if we had something like this in there. And of course, I'll take that into consideration, right? But other than that, I'm just super excited to get this platform off the ground. It's been a long time coming. It's not something that I was just like, hey, let's throw a website together. It just happened naturally. And now I'm at this point where it's like, well, why didn't you build a website? But I'm happy though, because again, with artificial intelligence and having this to our disposal now, like I couldn't have done this 7 months ago, 8 months. Well, excuse me, I started 8 months ago. I couldn't have done this, let's say, a year ago because the technology wasn't there to help me do the coding that I needed. It wasn't there for me to say, okay, I want this way, make it so, wave the magic wand and make it work, right? So there was a lot of stuff that went into this, but I'm happy that we're at this point in time right now, and I'm looking forward to the future with the Lost Transition and each and every one of you guys that gets involved. So that's my win for the week. Let me go ahead and start the share. I got some slides, and again, I'm going to be talking to you guys more so today. Um, yeah, we have slides, right? But more so from the heart, because this is what we're calling week 2 of our Monday Mastermind. Talking about comfort kills dreams. That's what we're going to be speaking about today. Why your comfort zone is literally your enemy, right? And before we get started, kind of want to, again, I just speak from the heart on this. I can tell you from my personal experience, I can't say that I'm one that has ever been comfortable, so to speak. Um, and by that, what I mean is I'm always striving for more, right? Those of you that know me know that it's just the military mindset of the good, better, best. Never let it rest till your good is better and your better is best. It's just something that was instilled in me in the military. But even before the military, right, I always still had that go get 'em attitude. And I don't know why. I mean, this is something that was instilled in me. Most likely it was from my mother because my father wasn't around because they got divorced, right? So I didn't really have a father figure in my life from the age of, I want to say from 2 to like 9 or 10, something like that. So my mother raised me. She was the one that instilled the morals, values, and scruples, and I thank God that she did today. Uh, so there wasn't really a time that I could say that I was comfortable with life. I mean, was I content? Yes. But there's a difference between content and comfort, right? It's very important that you understand that difference. But what I want to talk to you today about is why, if you're sitting in that comfort zone, that it's literally your enemy, right? Because it can kill whatever dreams that you might have. And I want to prelude and go back to things that I've mentioned before about having these dreams, right? Having aspirations for your life. In essence, there's some people out there that could care less, right? Say just, well, whatever, the universe just does this, that, or the other, and we have to accept it as such. Well, that's not the case, right? We talk about this a lot when it comes to the mindset and manifestation, right? You can have, do, and or be anything that you want in life if you help enough others get what they want. That's something that I live by from Zig Ziglar. Sad he passed away, but it's something that I resonate with. And that's why I say, hey, go out there, help as many people as you can achieve their dreams. In essence, that will help you get closer to yours, if not actually achieving yours, right? So we want to talk about comfort killing dreams and what this actual trap is, right? Because that's what it is. It's realistically, it's a trap. Your comfort zone feels like a safe place to rest, so to speak, but it's not a rest stop, it's a trap. Right? The longer that you stay, the harder it becomes to leave. The walls don't protect you. They literally will imprison you. Okay? I want you to think about that for a moment. Last week we talked about the identity shift. This week we're going to break into those chains that kind of keep you stuck. And those chains that keep you stuck is literally being comfortable with where you're at in life, right? It's been said that the more that you pursue personal identity and personal experience and your personal development, the better you will become as a person, right? I truly believe that because obviously too, right, it's going to be a lot of the mindset, it's going to be the knowledge that we have or that we've learned over the course of these years, and then actually applying what we've learned, right? Earlier at the very beginning of the call, you heard Jackie Truby say, what you're teaching works. But the only way she would have known that is by getting out of her comfort zone and actually trying the things that we told her to try. And lo and behold, guess what happened? They worked, right? So I'm telling you all this again, speaking from the heart, because I don't want you to get too comfortable in what it is that you're doing, right? The moment that you get too comfortable, that's when you start to imprison yourself, and then you won't have more growth. Okay. So we want to be very careful about that. Let's talk about the comfort zone here, okay? What's the definition? It's literally a psychological state where you feel familiar, safe, and in control with minimal stress or risk. Now, I want to kind of define too and explain this is not the same thing as having balance in your life, okay? It's not. Right? You want to be in control. You want to feel safe, minimal stress, minimal risk, right? That's balance, right? Not necessarily saying to be comfortable without those things, right? But again, if you're sitting in that comfort zone, nothing grows there, right? You won't learn new skills. No new income is going to come. No new version of you that we can all love and appreciate. I can tell you right now, we've seen, you know, many of you, I can say off the top of my head too, especially Vicky, watching Vicky's go through the struggles that she went through and overcoming those struggles and becoming the person that she is now and wanting to be. It's a beautiful transition to watch as somebody like myself, as a coach, mentor, friend. It's beautiful to watch. She's turning into that butterfly that Dr. Lisa loves, right? This is what's important is your growth, not your stagnation, right? Like a lot of times you might even hear this if you've seen it, you've said it before. I'll start when I'm ready. I don't want to bother people. Maybe you say that, or well, what if they say no? That's a big one, right? Because a lot of people end up with that fear of rejection, which causes them to not even move in the first place, right? And I can tell you, as somebody that has been rejected thousands upon thousands of times, doors slammed in my face, all that fun stuff, I don't worry about the no anymore. No rolls off my back like water on a skin's belly, Because I know that if I get a no from my experience, number one, I didn't present myself properly. That's the big one. And if I get a no, that means I didn't follow the structure that I know to believe to be true that actually works, right? Or maybe you might be that person saying, I need to learn more first. Maybe I'll start next month, right? You see it a lot. I mean, and it's funny to me too when I see people posting on Facebook about it. Well, you said you were going to start today. Well, here we are, another month in it. I don't believe that that does a whole lot for that other person that's sitting on the fence. I really don't. I really, really don't. In fact, to me, that would probably make me not want to join you, right? The point is that we don't want to be in the comfort zone, period. Right? There should be a little bit that we have to work towards to achieve whatever it is that we want to feel some comfort, but not to remain in the zone. Okay. That being said, let's talk about the comfort zone lie. Right? What it promises versus what it delivers. Right? There's you guys that might be in that comfort zone. Maybe not those of you here that are participating, but maybe those of you that are watching or whatever in the long term, or YouTube or whatever. Right? Most people think that it's going to be safety from rejection or protection from failure, maybe freedom from judgment, because we all know people love to judge, right? That's why you say you only get 3 seconds to make a first impression. Right? Got to make the best first impression you possibly can. I see and think about this all the time. All these little things that I teach and talk about, I see them all the time. Like it just screams at me. Example, we're sitting on the front porch. Guy walking down the street, little heavy set, no shirt on, no shirt on. Like, okay, well, it's your right to do all that stuff, but imagine that first impression. The first impression that I got, that these other guys got, that the neighbors got. Here's this kid walking down the street with no shirt on, right? It happens, guys. It happens. People judge left and right. You know they do, right? You might even think that being in that comfort zone gives you peace of mind or even security. It really doesn't. Right? Maybe in the long run, we're thinking, yeah, if I stay here, nothing bad will happen. 'Cause who wants something bad to happen, right? None of us really want something bad to happen. But here's what it delivers. You see it on the right. It's going to deliver regret. It's going to deliver stagnation. It's going to take you longer to succeed when you could have just taken the action, got out of your comfort zone, and moved forward in the right direction. Sure, you might fail a little bit. Sure, you might stumble. You might fall on your face. Who cares? The story is how you get back up, how you dust yourself back off. what you learn from that situation and how you will move forward, right? What if at 3 a.m.? Why would you sit there and watch others succeed when you could also succeed? Instead of being the person that's just watching from the sidelines, you could be the person succeeding as well, right? Then, if you don't do anything, you change to get out of that comfort zone, guess what's going to happen? The same life, year after year after year, and you'll keep on complaining. You'll keep on saying that, you still need to make more money. You'll keep on complaining and saying that the economy sucks. You'll still keep complaining, saying the world sucks and this, that, and the other. Well, really, what it comes down to is you can't get off your lazy butt, get out of the comfort zone to do something. You've decided that this comfort zone is where you want to live. And that comfort zone, my friends, not trying to like bash or slap or poke or any of that, actually comes from a 9 to 5 job. Okay? Many people will get to that 9 to 5 job, and then guess what happens? Boom, settle down, sit into the comfort zone seat. All right? Stay there forever and a day, maybe 20, 30 years, maybe retire. Who knows? But you're still at the mercy and the whim of other people telling you what to do, when to do it. That to me is not what I want in my life. Okay? So what's it really cost us? Because there is some dollar figures that you can put on this. Really sit down and look at the whole spectrum of this. What's the real cost of comfort and not getting out of that comfort zone and doing the things that we're recommending that you should do? Well, every day you stay comfortable, you're paying a price. 5 conversations per hour that you didn't have if you're taking note and paying attention to what we're talking about. It might even be $500 that you didn't earn this week, or 52 weeks of I'll start Monday, right? So the question isn't what if I fail? The question is what is staying comfortable costing me? What is staying comfortable costing me? I can't say that y'all are in the comfort zone because you're here and you're coming every Monday, so you want to learn, which is a beautiful thing. I appreciate that. Right? Makes my day. Makes my day, literally, to see you guys want to succeed. Right? So there is a cost that comes with this, is what I'm saying. You'll have to evaluate it yourself on what your costs are. I know from what I've said before in the past, it could be potentially hundreds, if not thousands of dollars per day, depending on what it is that you're doing and how involved you get. Right? So let's talk about the growth equation because this is what we really want. We don't want you to sit inside that comfort zone. We want you to come, we want you to learn, apply the things we're doing, and little by little, you will slowly start to see those successes happening for you, just like they have for everybody else that follows the curriculum and follows the way of how it's done, right? Because I know when I do it the right way, I don't get no's. I'll say that again. When I do it the right way, I don't get no's. Right? That's all the things that we talk about, especially those of you that are in the inner circle, you know what I'm talking about. Hey, how's it going? How's your day going so far? Build rapport, build rapport. Change state, switch to business. If you don't do it that way, you're going to get a no. Unless they straightforward reach out to you and say, hey, give me that information you were talking about on Facebook. Okay? So let's talk about the growth equation because when you take discomfort and then you add action to it, ta-da, that's where you grow. Right? But what's awkward? Maybe it's that first call. I remember how many times I said to new employees coming into training with me about door to door, telling them that the first door that you ever knock on is going to be gigantic. It's going to look like a giant's door. You're going to hit it, and the wood is going to be so hard, it's going to hurt your knuckles. But I implore you to pound on that door. I implore you to knock. Feel that pain. Let somebody answer the door. and then go forth with your conversation, right? The rejection is what stings. But once you've had enough rejection, you understand that you're only being rejected because you're not following the protocol on how it works, which many people don't understand that. They don't get that training, right? They don't. I feel blessed that I was lucky enough to have somebody that cared about me when I was working for them for over 20 years to take me under their wing and act as a mentor to me to teach me these things. But I knew, guys, I knew every single time that I got to know. Even now, I know where I screwed up. Oh, I didn't build enough rapport. Oh, I didn't ask these qualifying questions. There's these different nuances, right? And that all came from growth. That all came from learning. That all came from being uncomfortable and taking action. That's how you grow. So there's 4 zones that I want you to think about. Write them down if you need to. I don't know if you've heard of this before or not, but at least you got a visual here now, right? These are the 4 zones. Where you are determines where you're going. So, first zone is what we've been talking about getting out of, which is the comfort zone, right? If you're safe but not stagnant, like myself, I don't want to be stagnant in the comfort zone. And you might be thinking, hey, I know what to expect when you're in that comfort zone, right? Then this second zone is fear. That's literally the second thing that pops up is fear. What if I fail? What if this doesn't work? What if they say no? What if they don't answer? Right? Most people stop at this zone, my friends. Most people stop at zone 2. They're paralyzed by the fear of rejection. Imagine that, right? Crazy to think of, right? Third zone is learning. That's where we all should be, at least in 3 and 4. Building skills, right? Figuring it out, like we were talking earlier with Virgil, and setting up his Google Ads account and Google account and all that stuff, right? Figure it out. No one's going to come in there and do it for you, but you can figure it out. You can go on AI, you can go to Google, you can go to YouTube, you can seek the information, right? That doesn't cost you anything more than your time and your internet connection. But most people stop at that second zone because they're just scared, right? And then the fourth one is growth, right? I could do this now. What are the new capabilities? What are the new things that I've learned? As an example, I talked about AI and using Claude to program all the intricacies in the back office of the lost transition. Told you guys when I started, I don't know how to code. I am not a coder. I got a business partner named Dariush that lives in Iran. If I need HTML and coding stuff done, guess who I call? I call him. That's why I have this business relationship with him. You surround yourself with people that know more than you, right? I don't know how to do it, so guess who's my partner? Somebody that knows how to do it, right? Now in the background, I've learned this stuff and I'm building it all out. And I'm actually tickled with myself. I'm pretty pleased with myself to say, yeah, even though it's been, uncomfortable, I've gone through a lot of challenges, a lot of like breakdowns and artificial intelligence changing shit that I had already created and made fine, like all these little things, right? But the growth over the past 8 months for utilizing the tools and implementing what we're talking about and building the website out is tremendous to me when I look at it. I can go look at what the code is telling me and saying this is here because of whatever we need to check, blah, 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 blah. And as I read these things, I'm learning, right? learning how to interact with it, learning how to work and use the interface, right? So these are the four zones. Get familiar with them, right? Know what they are, but you should be living in the third and fourth zones, right? Zone 3 and 4. You've heard me say this before too. If you're not learning, you're dying. Every day you should be learning something new, right? I'm not telling you to be on every Zoom that's out there. Be on a couple of them so you learn something that you didn't know before, and then take that information and utilize it moving forward, right? You've heard me say it before, and now this is starting to become one of my favorite quotes, and it's directly tied to the lost transition. You'll see it on the front homepage. Comfort kills more dreams than failure ever could, right? Because failure teaches. Comfort, it just waits, right? It's just sitting there. But the more you fail, the more you're going to be taught, right? So, that being said, I want to give you guys a mission for this week, right? You know how I roll. Gotta have something to pay attention to or work towards or do or all that, right? I want you to think about the daily discomfort. Do one uncomfortable thing every day this week. Maybe it's starting a conversation. Maybe it's sending a message, right? Post something real. What? Tell your story. Get out of here, Robert. Why would I do that? It works, right? Number two, name your comfort crutches. Write down 3 excuses you use to stay comfortable. Write it down. If you see yourself doing, I'm not saying you guys all are doing that because again, you guys are coming every Monday and learning, so that's a beautiful thing. But there may be comfort crutches that you have. So write down 3 of them. If you find that you're saying these things like I'm not ready or not the right time, I need to learn more, write them down so that you can actually expose them. It's called awareness, right? You can't make any change in your life if you don't have the awareness to first make that change. And then number 3, calculate the cost, right? Pick one goal that you've delayed, that you've been putting off, and then find out how much has staying comfortable costing in money, in time, in the personal space, like all together. And even better, calculate all this and tell your story. That's a pretty cool idea. Take that uncomfort, get rid of it, remove it, and then tell your story. Tell people what the cost is or was. And that will even resonate with people more. They will be able to say, oh my God, that post, they so resonated with me. Those are the people that you want to affect, right? The ones that see your story, the ones that gravitate to it, the ones that understand your story and how you explain it, right? But I want you to remember your comfort zone isn't protecting you, okay? It's containing you. Like I said, like before, just like a prison. Every day you choose comfort over growth, you're choosing the person you are over the person you could become. I'm going to read that again. Every day you choose comfort over growth, you're choosing the person you are over the person you could become, right? This is why we talk a lot about personal development, becoming the leader that people want to follow. If you're not a leader that people want to follow, guess what? They're not going to follow you. You put all the posts out that you want, it's not going to work. The universe will not allow it to happen, right? So become the leader. Get out of that comfort zone. Strive more to do those things that make you uncomfortable so that you can achieve more. So that's what I got for you guys today. I trust that you guys got some value out of it. Next week, it's going to be week 3, and it's the story you tell yourself. All right, we're going to talk a little bit about rewriting your internal narrative. That means this stuff right here. It means how to rewire your brain so that you're not going through those negative things. You're not in that comfort zone. Right? That's what we're going to talk about next week. So, that being said, you guys get some value out of today, I trust, I hope. If anybody got any comments, questions, or any feedback, feel free to add. Just get out of your comfort zone, my friends. Everybody agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. That's the mortar of change because the point is if you're comfortable, you have already achieved who you are. Why look at something else? As you said, you make the choice of, like, you know what, I'm good where I am. And that's the ultimate comfort zone. And if you're chasing something, it's the ultimate failure. Because if you're good, then the race, the chase, the passion, the drive, it all comes to term. It's already exhausted, right? I see it now as comfort is when the fire has run its course burning. Only ashes remain, right? So,
Amen, brother. Amen. I just think, like, for me, I don't know if, part of it might have been the military. I really don't know. I think I'd have to sit back and think about it a little bit more. But I think a big chunk of it for me was the military, right? Because as I've mentioned to you guys before, in the army, you go through some things that you wouldn't believe that you could actually accomplish. Seeing 10-foot walls that you got to get over and stuff, and then actually accomplishing that. Maybe that's where it came from. That I don't know, but it's interesting to look at and think of. Okay, go ahead, brother.
Thank you. I have a couple of sayings that I go by,
Cool, perfect.
and one of them is what you just went on this session, and it is that comfort is the enemy of success.
I love it.
And the other one is that anything that you wish, anything that you desire, is in the other side of fear.
Amen, baby. Amen. Ooh, I love that.
yeah,
Amen. You're right, Jorge, and I'll tell you, to add to that, this is how you retrain your brain. Like I've had to do this, is those little quotes, those little sayings like good, better, best, never let it rest till your good is better and your better is best, right? Those are the things you must tell yourself to reprogram yourself. It's kind of funny when you think about it, but you have to manipulate your own mind to believe the right way. It's crazy when you think about it. Go
Well,
ahead, Vicky. What you got, my friend?
quick, I have another one.
Oh, sure.
The biggest room in the world is room for improvement.
I love that one. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you for
well,
sharing. Vicky, love it.
This has been a great call today, Robert. It's a good reminder. Um, see, I didn't start. I had all the confidence in the world. I had great, determination and everything for years and years and years. I reached every goal I wanted. I was very successful at what I did. And then I got setback after setback after setback. And then you get people feeding stuff into your brain. So basically, and then I got sick on top of that. So it's been all my might. I didn't start from a place of comfort, you know. I'm not stuck in a place of comfort, okay? By far. I've been pushed down to where I have to crawl back up. And there's a huge difference. And I had since y'all known me the last 24 months or so, it's just been I'm just climbing and climbing and climbing and praying and just doing everything, and I had to get rid of a lot of all that garbage back there. There was so much that had been pushed into my brain. I needed to get rid of it,
Amen.
and that came from a lot of different places: toxic environment, um, just feeling inadequate or less of a person because of all the health issues and not being able to do independently for a long time. And so, but that's just it. You can't stay stuck. And I didn't allow myself to. I surrounded myself with people that were like-minded, that believed in success, that I knew could help pull me out of that hole and back to Vicky Osgood Watley. And now I'm ready to tackle the world.
That's
So it
target.
just has taken so much
Uh,
time, and but I'm not starting, like I didn't have any good knowledge or anything before. I had a lot of great knowledge before, and I just had to be able to pull that back out of myself again, and now I can share. So I think it's great, and I really appreciate everything, and it's a lot to do with the lost transition. So I appreciate it so much, all of you. Yeah.
I don't want to get emotional after that one, but thank you. You know I love you. You know you're like a sister to me. And to see the growth that you've had and dealt with over the past, a year, 2 years is pretty phenomenal. And we're very proud of you, Vicky. Very proud of you. You know, seeing you go and end up having, even that one 2K commission, man, that was just really, really
I
amazing to see that happen for you. You know,
I need a lot more. Yeah.
you'll
So
get
yeah,
them.
I'm working on it, but it's still going to be a work in progress, and I realize it. But this time I'm doing it right. This time I'm doing it with the right technology, with the right mindset. I'm gonna not. I was always trying to rebuild the old that I had lost, the old that I had lost, and it's like, wow, that is not what I need to be doing at all. I need to be taking the new technology and the new things that's coming out, that reach into the AI, and instead of trying to bring back the old, take what I learned from the old and bring it out with the new that I have available right in front of my very hands. So that's what I'm doing. It's taking a long time though. So, but I do
Not
love
a
all of
race,
you
though.
guys.
You're doing fine though. It's not a race. You're doing fine. And I again, kudos to you for all the challenges that you've been through and going through, and you still get your ass up and you still dust yourself off. So
Yeah.
I don't want to hear no excuses from anyone else.
Yeah.
Because
The hardest thing was just being able to walk, be able to walk again, and to, build that strength and be able to, physically feel whole again. So that was the hardest challenge, but everything else is just falling into place.
well, I thank God that you have entered my life and
Mm-mm.
been able to see and have you as a friend. Like I said, to me, you're like a sister, but just keep shining, my friend. Keep shining. Don't let anybody dim your sunshine, my friend. You've come a long
Vicky
way.
on Watley, Osgood Watley Unleashed. That
That's
world.
it. That's it, girl. Thank you, thank you, thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Rita, what you got,
Love
my
you.
love you too, bro.
Hey, good stuff from everyone. I just wanted to say that everyone is in a different place. All of us. So if you think about stairs, some are at a higher, some in the middle, some in a lower one. And whatever race we're running with ourselves, as you said, but more importantly, as long as you understand that you can learn from other people and where other people are, and you stay focused, you will accomplish your goals if you work towards it. But the
Amen.
work is imperative.
Amen. Amen, my friends. With that being said, I want to thank you again for another amazing Monday Mastermind. You all really is what makes this work. Um, so I encourage you today, maybe learn something today, maybe you had some thoughts today. Go out and use that and tell your story, right? Tell your story. We don't want the glory, just tell your story. We'll see some of you guys Tuesday and Wednesday. And if nothing else, we'll see you next week for another Monday